doggy, Jimmy Harbaugh, pounded his fist. I don't lie, I don't cheat. I deal with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind because his daddy, who ran away from a job, did the same thing. Look, Jimmy Harbaugh was given a 4-year show cause. 4 years, they say you can't coach college football unless you get in front of a committee and you explain why. See, you got to understand something about Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is a fraud. Back in the day when he was here in Indianapolis, Jim Harbaugh was a crazy man doing all kind of stuff. And good for him. He's a football quarterback in a small town. He's a big fish. But one day after a game, he started talking about God and Jesus. He got in the locker room, and a tough player named Stephen Grant, who was all about God and Jesus, threw him up in his locker. And he said, yo, you are a fraud. You are a fake. If I ever hear you talk about God and Jesus, I'm going to beat the shit out of you right here in front of all of your teammates. Because he knew Harbaugh was a fraud. He knew Harbaugh was a liar, fake religious guy. And anybody that watches Harbaugh now knows that. Well, that's in his playing days. You think he's really changed since he's become a coach? Of course not. He's overcome a DUI back in the day, which, okay, you made a mistake, you overcome it. But everybody in the world knows this guy is one of, if not the biggest frauds ever. And now he is accused of doing exactly what the other day he pounded his fist on the ground, on the table, and said, I was taught not to lie, not to cheat, not to steal. Really? Well, guess what? He got busted for all of it, because when you lie and cheat in college basketball or football or any of the college sports, guess what? You're stealing from others. That's what you're doing. You are stealing from others, and that's exactly what they did. And I would argue that Urban Meyer literally broke the man. The man went 0-7 against Michigan when Urban Meyer was there, against Ohio State when Urban Meyer was there. And understand, this is just for the first violation. You know, he will be a repeat offender. And it was proven he cheated. It was proven he lied. It was proven he stole. Now, he can say he didn't, and a fawning media will say, oh, yeah, you're great, Jim, because they're so stupid. They're so incredibly stupid, the media. They want to love him. They don't want to like Urban Meyer. Urban, bad. Harbaugh, good. You know, it's pretty amazing when you think about it, actually. Jim Harbaugh has been known by literally everyone he's been around to be a fraud, an absolute fraud. And Meyer broke him. Meyer made him start cheating. Well, maybe he was cheating before, but let's put it this way. He was doing a very poor job of cheating. Meyer made him up his cheating game. He hired Connor Stallions, who went out and scouted games illegally. COVID hit. He was meeting with recruits at a time when you're not supposed to. And I would ask those recruits, what the hell are you doing? You know the rules. Everybody knows the rules. What are you idiots doing? He was doing all kinds of stupid stuff. And people in Michigan say, well, it was just a cheeseburger. Yeah, I don't know. But if it was just a cheeseburger, why'd you lie about it? Went in front of the NCAA and didn't tell the truth. Now, when I see allegations externally, and this is from my time with Calvin Sampson at Indiana, my 6 months or whatever it was with Sampson, man, there's a lot more underneath. Calvin Sampson got busted for phone calls, but allegedly he was paying dudes a lot of money to stay and play. And I found that out after the fact. And it's really kind of funny to me, and I've always thought that. Like, I never cheated, never lied. I didn't. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but not a chance. I was scared to death, Catholic guilt. But when I went to work for a cheat, and I knew he was a cheat, and I wanted to see what was going on. I know he cheated Indiana. It amazed me. It confirmed what I already thought. There's a lot more going on than what's reported. Well, it's the same thing with Harbaugh. There's a lot more going on than what's reported. But the problem for Harbaugh is he lied. And when you lie to the NCAA, basically every coach knows, I said this the other day, you're done. It's over. Forget it. Everybody knows. It's done. You're done. Don't even think about it. But now it's official. It's a 4-year show cause, which people are going to say, what are you talking about? Didn't even matter. He's not in the NFL. Oh, it matters. It matters big. When that clown puts his head down and that clown tries to talk about integrity, now it matters. Because this isn't kind of sort of allegations. This is right here. I mean, you're lumped in with the Calvin Sampsons of the world. Show cause. You're lumped in with the worst of the worst, the Dave Blisses of the world, show cause. I got to tell you, Dan, why you get such a kick out? I hate frauds. And you can say whatever you want about me. I don't give a rat's ass. And there's a debate going on about 40 years ago whether I stopped Michael Jordan at 40 years. Who cares? But the truth of the matter is I hate frauds. I do. I don't respect them. So I'll say anything about them. That's the way I am. I'm sorry. I'll attack Harbaugh's kids because I'm sure they're frauds. They coach now. They're not 12 years old. I guarantee you those kids learned to lie from Harbaugh. I promise you at the family dinners, it's a mess between Crean's bullshit, Jim Harbaugh's complete bullshit, and John Harbaugh, who is the sane one, the older brother, the smart one. He probably just sits there and looks at those two idiots and goes, will you both shut up? You know what I mean? It's pretty fascinating watching these guys pontificate. I was actually quoting some of Crean. Crean is married to Harbaugh's sister, so he has adopted the talk it, be the philosopher. It's hilarious, this whole thing. But it's been called out now. The former Wolverines head coach was given a 4-year show cause penalty by the NCAA Wednesday for his involvement in impermissible recruiting during the COVID-19 dead period. Like every coach knows when the periods are. It's a dead period. Don't do it. The investigation into Harbaugh and other Michigan staffers has been ongoing for upwards of 2 years. And Michigan has said, we didn't do nothing wrong. Well, you can say it. Good for you. You got your little national championship, and that's fine. But you're a cheating, lying, ridiculous, bullshit institution. And actually, now that I look at it, my son went to Michigan. I spent about $300,000. Let me think about this. No, that's a lie. 54,000, that's 108. 54,000, that's 162. 54, 108. Yeah, right? I don't know. Anyway, 162 plus another 26. Roughly $200,000. They gave him a scholarship his last year there, saved me $26K. But that's all right. And he's a Michigan man. And I'll give this to my son. I don't think he would even think about cheating. He's not a Harbaugh. But Harbaugh is the ultimate Michigan man. And not only did he cheat, lie, he stole. Good for Harbaugh. Have been onwards for 2 years, and it resulted in Harbaugh being suspended for the opening four games of the 2023 season. In its release, the NCAA also gave the current LA Chargers head coach a 1-year suspension for violating obligations as a head coach. That includes unethical conduct. Never lie. Never cheat. Never steal. That's what I was raised on. You were raised by a father that got his ass beat in the MAC, begged to go back to Western Michigan, and somehow, some way became a legend. Instead of, don't even start with what you were taught. Somebody had to teach you, Harbaugh, how to lie, cheat, and steal, and it's Daddy. Look up Daddy's record when he actually was in a conference. It was like 5 in a million, or maybe 25 and 27, something like that. So he ran back. That's what you do when you're a Harbaugh. You lie, cheat, and steal, then you run. Not John Harbaugh. Now, John Harbaugh's a little different. Unethical conduct, along with failing to promote an atmosphere of compliance around the Michigan football program. What he did was he told everybody, no. Don't talk to the NCAA. And if you do, here's our thing. This is what we're going to do. Now, think about this. Michigan took down banners of the Fab Five. Michigan said, nah, too much crap here. We're taking down banners. You think Michigan will do the right thing? You think Michigan will take down banners? You think Michigan will not celebrate a national championship? Because not the entire coaching staff, but 6 of the coaches and the entire program, 6 of them got suspended or got some kind of violation, level 1 violation or level 2 violation, and the rest of the program was unethical and did not comply with the NCAA, the organization with which they are under. How about that? You think they'll Fab Five it, or was it just, the 5 African-American kids and that made it easy? I don't know. I mean, this is their hero, Harbaugh. I want you to think about it. It's their hero. This is their guy, Block M. Bo, yay, rock, go fight, win. Today, the committee issued its decision resolving that portion of the case. The underlying violations in this case are centered on impermissible recruiting contacts and inducement during the COVID dead period. Throughout the investigation, Harbaugh denied his involvement in the violations, which were overwhelmingly supported by the record. Harbaugh also refused to participate in a hearing before the committee. Harbaugh's violations of the COVID-19 recruiting dead period are level 2 violations, but it's unethical conduct. This is where Jimmy Ballgame, my Block M hat, Bo Schembechler, and by the way, Bo Schembechler, after the fact, there was something with a doctor and abusing players that Bo may or may not have turned a blind eye to. And of course, Bo's son Shemmy was on the staff and he had to get fired for racist tweets. What a program. What a place. What a country. Oh, baby. Anyway, Harbaugh did not, throughout the investigation, Harbaugh denied his involvement, which were overwhelmingly supported by the record. Now, let me talk about that for a second. The president of Michigan walked in there. We're fighting this. He walked into a meeting with Big Ten officials and Big Ten investigators. The meeting lasted about 30 to 45 minutes. They turned out and dropped their appeal, which means this. The president of the university, and I know this is fact, found the actual facts of the case and said, we got no appeal. Adios. Of course, the president then was wearing a hat and celebrating with his cheating head coach when they won a national championship. Urban Meyer broke this man, and I love it. Harbaugh's violation of the COVID-19 recruiting dead period are level 2, but his unethical conduct and failure to cooperate with the membership's process, specifically his provision of false or misleading information, so he lied. That's a level 1 violation. So he lied. The dude just lied, and he just got up there. Never lied. I'm not apologizing. Oh. The Harbaugh crew, the umbrella under which Iron Jack, please, and the wife, Millie or Ellie or whatever the hell her name is, they're just so full of shit. Go follow Tom Crean's Twitter. Get back to me and tell me what you think. No, seriously. During the show cause order, Harbaugh would be barred from all athletically related activities, including team travel, practice, video study, recruiting, team meetings at any NCAA school that employed him. Additionally, if hired during the show cause period, Harbaugh would be suspended for 100% of the first season of employment. The results of those contests during Harbaugh would not count towards his coaching record. That end there is for those of you that don't know, the Mike Krzyzewski rule. When Krzyzewski had a bad back and a bad team, which ironically coincided together, interesting, and he sat out, he fought like hell to get those records on Pete Gaudet, his assistant coach's record, not his. And he won. So now the NCAA, that's the Krzyzewski rule. You have no idea how full of shit all of these coaches are. That's why I'm here. I don't have a vendetta against anybody. I do have that's not true. I have a vendetta against coaches that cheat. I've told you many times, I lost a lot of money over ethics. I lost a lot of money over doing the right thing, a lot of money. And in fact, I lost my career doing it, leaving West Virginia and $500K guaranteed 7 years. I did. So I have no tolerance for cheaters. I don't. Now, Urban Meyer broke him. The dude got his ass beat, and he had to go cheat. Under 700 was his percentage, over 900 after. I texted Urban last night. I said, you broke this boy. He didn't respond. Smart, because he knows I got a big mouth and would probably. No, I would never violate a trust with Urban. Jim Harbaugh, you and the entire Harbaugh clan, except for John. I like John. You all suck. Comedy Central's daily show focused on the 2024 Summer Olympics during their broadcast, and show host Michael Costa took the opportunity to deride conservative critics of Iman Khalif's inclusion in women's boxing. Really? I don't know. Michael Costa's mad at us? Oh, my God, what are we going to do? Not Michael Costa. You mean Michael Costa? I'm going to have to look him up because I don't know who Michael Costa is. You mean the Michael Costa? You mean Michael Costa, the I don't know what. I mean, Michael Costa's mad at us? Oh, my God, Costa asserts Khalif is just another woman. Well, maybe he is to him. Maybe he likes that kind of thing. Maybe he likes a nice Adam's apple and an XY chromosome. Maybe he gets off on that. I don't know. Despite failing a gender test, which, of course, he did not mention. He didn't. Michael Costa's mad. Look, I'm sorry, this elite athlete. Oh, Michael Costa's American comedian. Oh, okay. Yay, rock. Go fight. Win. Oh, guess where he's from? The University of Michigan. Well, I'll be damned. So he likes cheaters. No, he's from Ann Arbor, went to Illinois. So he likes cheaters. I mean, growing up in Illinois, what are you going to do? I mean, seriously. Oh, my God. Wow. Oh, he coached at Michigan. There you go. There it is. He coached at Michigan. Tells you all you need to know. Michael Costa coached at Michigan, so he's used to lying. He's used to frauds. He's used to complete bullshit. Whoever Michael Costa is. I had to look him up. Anyway, look, I'm sorry this elite athlete does not look like the way you think a woman should look. That ain't it. That had nothing to do with it. She failed a gender test. Got kicked out of the International Boxing Association. But a woman is allowed to be dominating and powerful in a sport without you questioning her gender. No, not in the Olympics, Michael. No. Now, you're on the pro tennis tour. You know this. Now, I get it. Guys like Michael Costa have to go slant it towards, the liberal thing that they got. But no. It has nothing to do with how she looks. That doesn't even have anything to do with her Adam's apple. It has to do with that she's failed multiple gender tests. No, that's it. I mean, this ain't hard. See, when you get in the Olympics, it's yes or no. Or it used to be yes or no. Now maybe it's not so much. You pass the test, you're in. You fail the test, you're out. And I've said this many times, the Olympics were the most stringent, so who cares how she looks? I mean, I don't give a damn about some weightlifter. Who cares? As long as they pass a gender test. Because don't forget, these guys dragged her, an Algerian female boxer, into the American conservative culture war. Really. And if they're going to use her as a metaphorical punching bag, least they can do is step in the ring and let her use them as a literal punching bag. That's easy to say. That's a cute line, and he's a comedian. So, okay, well, so what somebody that's criticizing her is supposed to do is go to Paris and get in a boxing ring with her. He said literal. Really? Okay, Michael. Well, here's the deal. This guy apparently played tennis at places. I'm guessing, maybe not in his world, I don't know, but in every other world, if not his, you take a drug test. You take a drug test after the game, after the match. NCAA tournament, if you win a game, you take a drug test. If you lose, go home. Actually, some guys have alleged that they threw the game because they didn't want to take the piss test. But in the Olympics and in boxing, it's different. See, in boxing, unlike tennis or unlike stand-up comedy, you can get killed. Dooku Kim comes to mind off the top of my head. Brain damage, things of that nature. So you kind of sort of maybe have to protect the sport, the opponent, the people in the sport. And how do you do that? You do that by setting a limit on testosterone, and you make sure that dudes that are fighting dudes and women are fighting women. Because regardless, and if we're going to go culture wars here, what guys like Tim Walz and others think, there is a difference between men and women. Tim Walz thinks that boys should have tampons. There isn't a boy alive with boy genitalia that needs a tampon. Not one. Zero. Not a boy alive can give birth, Pete Buttigieg. None. All right. Anyway, long story short, you have rules. And those rules are to protect. It's why there are rules. That's why testosterone really in basketball, steroids really isn't a thing in basketball. I'm sure a lot of guys have used it. You should. Football, a little bit of a deal. Baseball, a little bit of a deal. Ball coming off a bat, I don't know. Hit you at 3,000 miles an hour on some juiced up clown. Football, you can die in the sport. Boxing, you can die in the sport. So guess what? You should pretty much keep it to boys against boys and girls against girls. And the only way to know is through gender testing. I mean, look, you can grab a packy. But in this day and age, you don't know if it's the great American penis or if it's surgically enhanced for JJ. So you got to do gender testing. And if that shouldn't be a culture war, that's something that's been in the Olympics, as I've said every day on this show, since 1972. The Associated Press, which blames Khalif controversy on racism, liberal television pundits cannot bring themselves to cede an inch of ground in a culture war to their enemies. Therefore, white dudes for Camilla, like Costa, are willing to take the side of athletes with male chromosomes fighting women in exchange for political points. Furthermore, we can't help but chuckle at Costa claiming that conservatives do not care about women's safety outside of sports. What are you talking about? In reality, the greatest threat to women's safety is the illegal thugs crossing the southern border. raping, beating, robbing, murdering women, a policy Joe Biden and Kamala Harris support. But you'll never hear that. You'll never hear that from little Michael Costa, or big Michael Costa. He's a big guy. So we've looked up who Michael Costa is, and good for Michael Costa. He's added, the world is so nuts, and he's added to the insanity. It's simple. Here's a test. Take it. You pass, but they didn't give the test. Simple swab. They didn't give it to these men or women. They want the woke Olympics, and they got him. Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker probably kills and destroys Michael Costa, too. I mean, I'm sure that he absolutely pisses these guys off. Michael Costa can't like Harrison Butker. Now, Michael Costa probably feels like Harrison Butker, but I said can't like Harrison Butker. If you're going to be a crazy-ass far-left lunatic, you can't like Christians. Actually, you can't like Jewish people either. Michael Rappaport it's pretty funny. Michael Rappaport with Sage Steele said that Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania un-Jewed himself. How do you un-Jew yourself? But he did. That's pretty funny by Rappaport. And Shapiro still couldn't get the Veep nomination. Now, maybe Rappaport, maybe Shapiro was smart enough to say, I don't want it. Who the hell wants that? But anyway, I digress. You can't like Harrison Butker if you're one of those whack jobs. You can't like Harrison Butker if you're Greg Doyle, Dan Wolken, or Nancy Amore, Sarah Spain, or any of these liberal, crazy-ass, far-left lunatics who nobody pays attention to anymore. I certainly don't. I just like ripping them. I like when old Sarah Spain puts those big floppies on the table and tries to sell them on the internet, or Greg Doyle goes, how you doing? Caitlin Clark. Anyway, sometimes I'm morphed. Well, Caitlin Clark spoke to the NFL, the media, and he doubled down on what he said. Good for Harrison Butker, not Caitlin Clark. Here's Harrison Butker.
I've appreciated all the feedback. I know when it comes to football, I don't really look at the comments, good or bad, towards me, but with it being the off season and stating a lot of these things, I was really curious as to what people would be saying back to me, and I respected all the viewpoints. But in terms of what I said, I prayed about it and I thought about it, and I was very intentional with what I said, and I stand behind what I said. And I really believe if people knew me as a person and understood that I was coming from a place of love and not a place of trying to attack or put people down, that I only want the best for people, and that's what I was trying to say there. And I think the people that were in that gymnasium all understood what I was saying.
Along those lines, you said not putting people down. Some people obviously interpret that as putting women's value down, particularly in the workforce. What was your response to that?
I mean, I think, my whole career I've talked about how I'm a husband and I'm a father before it comes to me as a kicker. It's something I've always preached. But then when I use that to talk about women and I say that they should embrace and love being wives and being mothers over their career, I think then it gets construed that I'm trying to put women down, which I'm not at all. I love women. I love my wife, and it comes from a place of love. My wife had never heard me speak publicly, and she was there for that moment, and she was up in the background in one of the offices up there, and I was getting emotional looking at her crying and understanding that she has sacrificed so much for me. She has completely changed her life around, and she has made sure she is focused on being the ultimate wife and the ultimate mother, and I love her so much for that. And I see how happy and excited she is day to day to wake up and embrace that life. And she pushes me to be a better husband and a better father and focus on my 3 children and focus on her over maybe trying to be the best kicker I can be out on that field.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Hey, and all of you NFL media, fuck off. That should have been his ending. And the little girl, Quintana Brunson, not now, not ever. All right. Well, there you go. Not now, not ever. All right. Hey, man, they made him the highest paid kicker ever. They made him the highest paid kicker because he's great at his job, and he's an unbelievably good teammate. I have a friend's son that played with Harrison Butker, and they told me that dude is loved in the locker room. Here's the difference between media and teams. Teams will love you. If you have talent and you produce, certainly in the NFL, there's no question about that. But also, if you're just real, if you're a fraud, if you're a fake, if you're full of crap, they won't love you. They won't love you. They won't they love Harrison Butker in that locker room. So, Slappy Johnny or some little girl on the South Side doesn't like him. Or some little mini me or Serena Williams doesn't like him. And by the way, we'll get to Serena Williams next. Good. What have I always said? It's always good when dumbass, ridiculous people don't like you. Always good. Not kind of good, always good. So good for Harrison Butker on his extension. Good for him double down. Never complain, never explain. Serena Williams, oh my God, we must let me and my children into the fanciest restaurant in French Open or the Paris or wherever because I am the elite. You must acquiesce to me. I hit a tennis ball across a net better than anybody. And I'm African American and a woman, although I married a white dude. Anyway, Serena Williams claims she and her family were rejected service. At a rooftop restaurant she was in, shamed on X community notes after Peninsula Paris apologized to Williams, but noted in the apology that their rejection was due to a fully booked place. Yikes, Peninsula Paris. I've been denied access to the rooftop to eat in an empty restaurant of nicer places, but never with my kids. Always a first. Aw, look at the elite. Thank God for the elite. Aw, Serena, baby. Yeah, you're full of shit, Serena. Community notes, Serena Williams was not denied a table. The restaurant was fully booked, and she was advised that was the case. But not with my kids. I'm a victim, but never with my kids. Dear Mrs. Williams, please accept our deepest apologies for the disappointment you encountered tonight. Unfortunately, our rooftop bar was indeed fully booked, and only unoccupied tables you saw belonged to our gourmet restaurant, Le Zouzou, which was fully reserved. What do you want us to tell you? When she came there, there were only 2 tables available, and they've been reserved by clients of the hotel. This is the head of it. My colleague didn't recognize her and feels terrible. But he told her what he would have told any other client, which is to wait downstairs in the bar for a table to become available. It was nothing personal. Man, people ripped her ass, too. One black guy said, oh, my God, an elite Serena Williams denied a table. When are we marching? Same guy also said, what is it? We got a holiday out of this? Serena Williams, you're kind of sucking. I said this before, and I'll say this again. College athlete, good one, any of them in this day and age. You got to wait 5 years after they're done playing before they become a human being. Otherwise, it's all about them. Me, I, me. Let me tell you about me and my friend. Let me buy me, my, I. Elite athlete, 10 years. Serena Williams might be 100 years. I don't know. But here's the thing about Serena Williams, and this is something I've always stuck with. My friend John Stroya lived in my neighborhood. His sister Kathy was the longtime tennis trainer, head of trainers for the United States Tennis Association under the umbrella which was the tennis tour. She was the trainer for the tennis tour. Let me get that out. She knew all these women. One night, John called me. He goes, you'll never guess who's sleeping in my bed while I sleep on the couch. I go, who's that? He goes, Gabriella Sabatini. At a time when Gabriella Sabatini might have been the hottest woman in the world, according to some. I like my women a little bustier, but what are you going to do? Anyway, she, Kathy Stroya, said, you know what? Serena and Venus are the nicest women on the tour. And I've always hung with that. But now Serena's become a thing. Serena Williams lost her being Serena Williams on the court, so now she's got to be Serena Williams on the ESPYs or in a hotel being a pain in the ass. And I'm not surprised. I tell you this all the time. There are 3 things. College athlete takes 5 years to become a human being. Professional athlete takes 10 years. A good professional athlete, post-playing, to realize no one's paying attention anymore. Oh, my God. Put the college coach in the 5-year plan, too. And then third, don't ever do business with a basketball player that played for Bob Knight. Ever. Don't do it in the state of Indiana. Don't do it. They won't work hard, and they're entitled. Those are my 3 things to live by. Take them for what you were. Hoover High School in Alabama is a big-time high school with a big-time football program, and it's so big that the SEC meetings were actually in Hoover. Maybe it was this year, last year, whatever. Hoover High School has a problem. Video showing Hoover High School coaches push down Bucks players at practice. The incidents have led head coach Drew Gilmer and defensive coordinator being placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. Here's some video of what went on. It's stupid. I don't know if he's humping him or I don't know if he's trying to pull his helmet off. But, look, I don't know. One guy's throwing one guy out of the way. The other guy's humping the guy. I don't know. Look, if somebody said the guy's trying to pull his helmet off, I'd say, why are you trying to pull his helmet off? I get it. And coaches do get excited during practice. They do. And I got to tell you, I said things never racial, never sexist, maybe sexist. But now, I'd be fired so fast. But I got to tell you, I never humped a player. I ain't humping nobody. And I'll tell you something else. I never got physical with a player. Here was always my thought as a coach. And I told my players this. I will never try to fight you. You guys lift weights. You guys are strong. I didn't lift weights when I played. I will yell, scream, cuss, get mad, go nuts, throw stuff, but I ain't fighting you because you'll kick my ass. And I don't need my ass kicked. These guys are getting in there, grabbing, holding. I don't know. If you're wondering why a high school might sound familiar, it's because Hoover was at the center of the MTV documentary-style show called Two-A-Days, which centered around the life of young high school players, and former head coach Russ Probst. This is the first season for Drew Gilmer at Hoover after leading Clay Chalkville for the previous 8 years. He won a state championship. His team went undefeated. As for what comes next, it's up to the superintendent at what he may come up with in the investigation. Look, you're going to have to do some pretty fast talking to explain why you're humping a boy, why you're humping a high school kid from the front. Hey, I'd go with I'm pulling the helmet off, I guess. And then you're going to have to explain why you're trying to rip some kid's helmet off. It's kind of a no-win situation. Advice to coaches, don't hump your players. If you're an adult male, don't hump anybody. Don't hump a woman if you're coaching women. Don't twerk. Don't hump a men's player if you're a man. Don't hump anybody. Don't hump a wall, a tree, a fence. I got a friend that in a simulator league gets drunk, humps a wall when he gets a birdie in a simulator league in golf in the winter. Don't hump anything. Hump your wife at night, hump your girlfriend, or hump both. Hell, some guys got both. Some guys got wives, some guys got girls. Hump everything, but don't do it in public, and don't hump players. Don't hump walls, don't hump trees, don't hump everything. I just said that by mistake. Hump your wife, hump your girlfriend, hump your boyfriend, but don't be humping players. I don't know how he comes back from that. I watched that yesterday, actually, when it came out, and I'm like, all right, pulling the helmet off. All right, the one guy's dragging the other guy off. Maybe they were MFing each other and there was going to be a fight. I'm trying to figure out, from the obvious, these two coaches are idiots, and I can't. The next question is what gets you. That's what gets you. The next question, why are you humping? I was pulling his helmet off. Why are you pulling his helmet off? Well, he was mad and fighting. Maybe. Why are you dragging this kid across the floor? Well, they were fighting. All right. I don't know. Just depends how much they think he's going to win. Hey, J.D. Vance had a great troll yesterday. Not a good one, a great one. I mean, he had a great one. The right-hand man of Donald Trump walked over to Kamala Harris's plane as the duo were on the same tarmac in Wisconsin, hijacked the press, and said she's hiding. Hiding Kamala was ushered off by the Secret Service in an SUV. Let's take a look. Here's Riley Gaines on it. Oh, here's the side of it, yeah.
might get lonely because the vice president doesn't answer questions from reporters and hasn't for 17 days. Have they given you guys an explanation for why she won't take questions from reporters? No? Nobody? Okay, great. Well, I hope that she changes her mind because it'd be good for the American people, and I think it'd be good for you all if she actually ran a real campaign instead of one from a basement with a teleprompter. So have a good one, guys. See ya.
There you go. There you go. And now Entourage reboot is going to be awesome. There he is. Vinny Chase. Walk. Hey, see the woman on the right? That's the same one that the Secret Service agent for Donald Trump. I don't know. I feel bad for that woman. The Vinny Chase of our show, my man Nick. Hey, Nick, cool picture. No, that is a cool picture. Say whatever you want, but that's a pretty cool picture.
Did you see what Keith Olbermann said about it?
Tell me.
Casting couch.
What does that mean?
You don't know what casting couch is?
I know what casting couch mean, but I don't get what he means. What does that mean?
It's like, it's a specific, you know what? It's a little too inappropriate for you here.
You're an actress. You're an actress. You're fucking Harvey Weinstein to get a job. I know what casting couch is, but what does that mean? What does that mean in this context?
He's making fun of JD Vance for being the girl in the center, and then he's got the whole people behind him. If that makes sense.
Oh.
It's a bad joke. It's a Keith Olbermann joke. Right? He's a jerk off anyway. So it's like.
No, I get it. No, I know what a casting couch is. I know what, all that stuff is. But, my thing is, I think it's a pretty cool picture.
I think it's dope. I think it's an awesome picture. Only him and Donald Trump can take these really cool pictures and have it blow up in the political world.
Did you ever have a coach grab you or hump you?
No, I've had coaches throw baseballs at me, though. One hit me right in the ass, and that did not feel good.
Really? Good for them.
Yeah, we were screwing. We were having a really down time, and he was pissed off at the infield. And I'm at third base, and he's really fucking pissed off at us. So he just starts darting us with baseballs, and we're trying to catch him left and right. One caught me right in the ass, and I think I had a bruise there for probably like 3 or 4 days. It looked like a fucking eggplant. I'll never forget it.
Did your mommy and daddy get mad at the coach? Did they get him fired?
No, my dad was actually happy because he was at the practice, and he said, well, you deserved it. I'm like, yeah, I know. To be fair, we played like shit.
Good for your dad.
Yeah, it's good coaching.
Dad. There's no video.
I'm okay with it.
If there was a video, that would have been a serious problem. So basically, no coach has humped you.
No. I don't have any experience like that, and God forbid I ever had an experience like that. I probably wouldn't be here. I'd probably be in a mental institution right now, up against the wall, going like this. He humped me. I'd be fucking going out of my mind if that ever happened to me.
I let a coach do a lot of shit to me. I let Coach Knight do a lot of stuff, but he ain't humping me.